Hi everyone, welcome to Quantum Embodiment. I am so excited for this. This is going to be fun. We are going to go so deep. Make sure you have a notebook, some water, just so you refresh yourself and you take notes if you need to, or just for the questions that I'm going to ask you. So, first of all, let me know in the comments what made you sign up today and what are your expectations? I want to hear first from you. So, what made you sign up? What are you excited for? What are you looking forward to? Right? Want to be self-reliant. That's a very good one because that's actually like when you get into a place where your self-concept is like solid enough, you find yourself almost like you're not in a place where you're dependent on it so much on the 3D. You're not like always like looking for answers. You rely on actually stepping into your own self-sovereignty, giving yourself exactly what you need, and it's easy from there to decide what you want and continue to claim it. It's easy for you from there to decide that this is just what I want, it's working, and that's that. So, yeah, here are the comments, yeah. So, part of this will definitely help you with relying on yourself, and that creates a lot of trust and stability within. And you said, someone else said, because you want to take manifesting games to the next level. Yes, we're all about the next level. You're not just here to get quick info and leave. We will dive in deep. 60 to 90 minutes just to make sure that everything is super clear, that I give everyone the info that is needed, and we know how to apply it. Being a master at manifesting what I want, queen, I love it. So I'll let the rest of you type while I add people in, because I know some people have a problem with it. Let me see what's the next one. Want to heal my wounds. That's a beautiful one. Yeah, healing your wounds is, I know that people say, well, it's actually the, it's actually the thing that you don't need to do in order to manifest what you want. And there it is like true to an extent in the sense that you can get what you want no matter what, but it's like, are you going to maintain it? Are you going to enjoy having your desire? That's the big question, right? Because it's like, if you can enjoy getting it, then you will maintain it and you will actually, like, that's the point of it. You want to get it so you can experience it, right? You can experience the love that you want with that person, the excitement of having this partner who has your back, that money where you can get your kids whatever you want and travel around the world with your friends and family. So it's like, what is better than that? That's why healing is so important, because it's no longer just about your desire. That's the case when you first found out about manifesting. Yeah, I want to stop self-sabotaging. Definitely, yeah, that's a good one. Less overthinking, just feel and trust. Yes, 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 we love it. Yeah, no band-aids, experiencing it fully. It's like, you know how, like, if you injure yourself and you're bleeding, you find it almost like difficult to heal when you don't actually clean the wound. It actually gets infected. If you don't clean the wound and then put a bandage, then what's the point? But if you clean it, the bandage, then it's going to work. Yes, okay, it's working now. People can join by adding them myself. Okay, so I apologize for all the people who had issues joining. I think it was the volume of people joining in at the same time. So I'm adding people manually in. So keep typing in the comments. Tell me how it's been for you. Like, what have you done so far to heal your wounds, to become self-reliant, or to trust? And I would love to hear also what things have worked and what things haven't. So I'm really interested in hearing more about your journeys. I don't want to just give like info and promote stuff and whatever. I want to hear from you what you want in life, what you are really struggling with, because we don't want to like repeat the same shit. I don't want to waste anyone's time. You signed up for a good reason. I want you to be able to get into this. Ignoring my feelings hasn't worked. Yes, you're totally right. It doesn't work because like ignoring your feelings is like, it's like ignoring that child that's crying, you know? And I'm not talking about, their parents always disagree on that stuff where it's like, oh no, soothe the child another time. If you keep soothing them, they'll cry to get your attention. That's not the thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about if, let's say, a kid, put aside child, let's say a 6-year-old kid is crying. Are you just gonna walk away and be like, bye, bitch? Nah, I'd rather be positive. No, that actually like perpetuates the situation and it makes them feel worse, right? So that's why it doesn't work. Like less overthinking, just feel in trust. Want to stop looking for outside validation. Totally. I like that. Celia, oh, I love that you're all vibing. Breathing, exercising, crying, movement. Yeah, these definitely help. Could not work on feeling worthy. That's definitely a big one, and we'll definitely touch on it. Because even if I accept my flaws and change it, I felt that I changed my flaws only not to feel guilty. Yeah, so that's still, it's like, that's the bandage. I want to accept it so that I don't look at the guilt. That's the bandage. Shifting masculine, feminine. Okay, great. Okay, so just one last look at the email to see that everyone is good to join. Okay, so I'll check back in like 10 minutes and see if others join. I sent the link directly to work that way with the people who just got in the room. All right, so first of all, hello, my name is Rosanna. I'm so excited to meet you. I am a self-concept mindset coach. I'm still like tweaking it between self-concept mindset coach and self-concept quantum leap coach, because no one ever calls themselves a quantum leap coach, and I can do that. I mean, it's my business. I think it's more that I feel like it would seem like we're just gonna talk quantum leaps and not the inner work. So I'm finding a way to like make my message loud and clear. So I'm the CEO of my business, Rozana Manifests, and I am double certified. I have a certification in life coaching and I have a certification in NLP. And I just infuse these in NLP specifically. I like to infuse it within my coaching. I don't have like an NLP program or NLP specific session, just because I don't want anyone to go in with this like vibe of like, I hope this fixes me. I know how to get in myself without telling my clients that we're doing some NLP. I actually studied HR. I did not study psychology. I was studying HR in the UK, and I used to live there. It was an amazing time, of course, and I loved it. And I was actually going to work in HR. Until this day, I'm open to a part-time job in HR. I see what I'm doing right now as full-time and lifelong. And my mission is to empower women to unleash their power, manifestation power through mind and body integration, and to give your self-concept the ultimate glow up. Because we're here talking about the long run. We're here talking about you spending the rest of your life with yourself, no matter who you're with, no matter where you are. So, if anyone doesn't know yet, I'm an Egyptian woman. I'm living in the EU at the moment. And oh my God, I'm turning 25 exactly a month from today. Oh man, I did all this in 25 years. I feel like I've lived 3 lives. As for manifestation, I actually discovered it 5 years ago. Yeah, I was 19, so it's gonna be 6 in like a few months. Um, gonna be 6 in a few months. And it's been like an up and down journey for me. Like the thing that bothered me the most about this journey is like being told, just feel into it, just tap into this, just quantum leap, just persist. And I'm like, which tell me how? So my entire field and my entire niche is about the how. How do you actually apply this? How do you make this realistic? How do you make it work in the long haul, right? You're wise for your age. I thought you were about 30. It's not offensive. Thank you for the compliment. I hear that a lot. I've heard that my entire life, either because of how I look or because of the things that I speak about and my interests. So it's not rude at all. Thank you for saying that. All right. So how I got into manifesting is I was looking into NLP and not NLP, sorry. That's why I paused for a moment. I was looking into telepathy, thinking to myself, I believe that in a way this has to be something that works. And I don't know, I just searched NLP and it took me to a law of attraction channel. Like it was a video by a law of attraction coach. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, this visualization. And I didn't really try it. I was just like, okay, I don't know if I believe it. I just went through this coach's page and then it led me to other coaches and others and then Neville and then, this whole dance. And since I'm like so passionate about science, neuroscience, quantum physics, spirituality, religion, business, it made sense for me to do this, right? It all came together somehow. And I started this business 3 years ago. Crazy to say that because time passes so quickly. And here I am. I keep refining my message more and more. And I'm finally at a place where I feel like it's getting a lot more clear, and there's a bit of a shift coming soon as well with my brand and how it looks specifically. So for today's agenda, I am going to talk about my 5-step process to quantum embodiment. This is the 5-step process I use inside QIL, my signature mastermind, Quantum Your Life. And what I help people with here is to radically shift their self-concept in a way that they maintain it forever. So throughout the years, like through trial and error, through, all the mistakes, so to speak, that I've made and all the things that I've been trying to manifest and all the hows and all the questioning, I decided to put something together that was practical enough and realistic enough that made sense. That's why we all moved on from the whole high vibration thing all the time, right? So for the person who just joined, JV, can you please confirm your name? Because I want to, it's just for safety purposes. Okay. So the next bit here is the first step of this process is obviously clarity. If you have clarity on what you want, if you have clarity on what the future that you want to get into is like, if you have clarity on why you are stuck, then you can reverse engineer everything. So segment 1, clarity on the present. Why are you stuck? What is making you so attached to the old story? Because you've been trying to drop it. So what's stopping you from actually letting it go? What is the payoff? What is it giving you? A payoff is something that you find, it's almost like it's rewarding. So sometimes staying in a victim mode means that, this other person is the problem. This other person is the one who is at fault. And that's not to say we can't hold people accountable. It's more so, are we blaming ourselves to the point that we're keeping ourselves as a victim and pointing fingers at other people because we don't want to look at how that feels to be with them? What is it exactly that's going on, right? What led you to this point of the present moment? This is where we look into your childhood as to looking at the things that you experienced in your life, not to stay stuck there, but to use it as feedback as to why you are here, so you can finally break the pattern. And then eventually, we want to also look at what moves you from point A to point B, the point of being stuck, to the point of being unstuck, and what moves you back to point A. When you step into the state, what moves you back? What triggers, what actions, habits, reactions move you back to being the old version? If you can have super clear, crystal clarity on that, there's no way you're going to fail at this, because then you're going to be aware of it every time. We're going to talk about what you can do with it in a bit. And then the second segment here is getting clear on your future. Who is the new you? And I don't just mean the identity of, I am married, I am happy, I have a dog, I have a big house. It's who are you when you're experiencing those desires? Because, for example, the person who knows that they're a working mom knows that the experience would be that, oh, I have several responsibilities. I have this person, my partner is helping me. I love, like, our two kids, we sit together on the porch having our chocolate pancakes together. You know, that's the experience. It's the sense of connection. It's the sense of having this companionship, having a back to fall on, and also knowing, like, your hands are full all the time, right? So that is not the same as just saying, like, affirming 5 times a day, oh, I'm married, I have kids, I'm a mother, you know? That's why it gets so boring, daunting, and exhausting. I'm sure anyone here, have you ever been down this road where you are constantly, like, affirming, like, the same thing, and you feel like it's just bland or exhausting or daunting? And also, which of these is resonating with you so far? What part of what I just said resonates with you? So if you can take a moment, just think about what makes you stay and stick to the old story. What is the payoff? Could it be that you're afraid of getting hurt again, so you allow yourself to continue to feel abandoned? Could it be that stepping into the new story where you have something you've never experienced before seems scary and unfamiliar? Could it be that you feel like the moment you get it, you're going to lose it and repeat this whole manifesting thing again because things never work out for you? What is the payoff here? Why are you standing still? So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll leave room for Q&A in the end where some of you can unmute yourself. Yeah, I tried to visualize what I do want actually, but I just tried to combine it with my SP and imagine what it would look and feel like. Now you put it in your words, it became more clear for me. Yes, so clarity. When I tell people to script, most people don't like it until I tell them to try my scripting guide, not because I'm special, but I'm someone who likes to write, right? That doesn't have to be you. So I decided to look at how can I get deep with scripting. So for the SP people here, you're not just scripting that this person gets you gifts all the time and texts you all the time. You want a whole script about what communication looks like. What kind of conversations do you have? What topic piques your interest when you talk to this person? What does this person think of your opinions? What is a deep late night talk like? What places do you go to? Another script could be about affection. How do you both express your love language and how do you find common ground with that? What kind of love do you like to receive and how do you feel when you receive it if it's not awkward anymore? You know, these are the specifics that we're talking about here. I'm too attached to my old states and feelings. Guess the payoff is that they keep me safe, unhappy but safe. Yeah. So it sounds like you feel like being happy is not possible for you. It's not the thing that would last. Could not work on feeling worthy. Okay. Right. The guilt and the worthiness story. Got you. I'll keep that in mind. So let me just take a quick look at anyone who's still trying to join. All right. Maybe I want to reward or be rewarded only when I'm perfect. I'm actually glad you said that because I know that's a big story, has been a big story for me where it's like there is pleasure in struggle, that now that I struggled, now I can rest because that means that I fought enough for it. That means that I worked so hard on myself and now I deserve it. Now I get to earn it. And that's why we find ways to either complicate the process or see the process more complicated than it is, or hurdle after hurdle so that you can keep problem solving. And we know that you don't just sustain the feeling of worthiness because you got it from something external. It's momentary. So let's go to the next bit. Now, for the second step of the process, releasing old wounds and stories. Here's where we take segment 1. So your answers from segment 1 and the clarity, why you're stuck. And you practice from there, dropping the old story to make your way to segment 2, which is the new future that you've identified here, right? So let's take an example here. Someone in the comments. Never achieved business success. Okay. Don't believe in myself. Okay. Guilt, unworthiness. All right. So let's take the being happy is not safe for me, because that's probably a thing for most people. Being happy is not safe. Okay, let's keep that in mind for the next examples. Now we want to talk about the ways to release it, right? Number 1, we want to connect and integrate. So that means you meet various parts of you and make peace with them. So if you can meet the past versions of you who were taught to believe happiness cannot be sustained, love doesn't last forever, money runs out, safety comes to an end, you will fail in the end, good things, blah, 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 blah. If you meet these past versions of you and instead of revising what happened, revise the perception, revise how you felt, while also seeing that version eye to eye to make peace with them, that's when you will integrate it. That's when the resistance will drop. Because what tends to happen is that when we're stepping into a new story, we start to feel a lot of resistance, or we keep going back and forth. And that's because there is a part of us, like think of it as a family within you. All the family is like all of the people that you've been throughout your life. Childhood, teen years, between year 12 and 15, age of 12 and 15, etc. All these parts of you have memories, have stories as a result of younger versions of them. And maybe different versions of you have different trauma. And so sometimes when we look back, we feel a sense of shame that, this is what I used to be. And that stops us from allowing ourselves to feel worthy enough to be happy, to receive, to be taken care of. And so if you meet these part of you, all of them, form a connection and a relationship with them, see how they feel, what their needs are. They will tell you exactly how they want to be supported, they want to be chosen, they want to be held, they want to be loved. And that is how you meet your own needs. That is how you become your own ideal friend, ideal partner, the parent that you never had. And so when you practice doing that every single time, your fears will no longer have a hold on you. Because trust me, the scariest part of the process is feeling the fear. Listen to it again. The scariest part of the process is feeling the fear. Not the fear in itself, not the consequence in itself. Many of you here have had things that you're afraid of happening that did happen. And when that thing happened, yes, it sucked. But was it as bad as you thought when you thought that you wouldn't survive it? Because when you don't face the fear, it's kind of like, this example I always give where it's like, when you walk through a dark corridor, either now or when you're a kid, you're almost terrified. It's like you feel like there's a monster here. Then the moment you walk through and turn on the lights, you find out that you're fine. It's not as scary as you thought it would be. Yeah, maybe you would bump into something in the dark, but that's it. Feeling the fear does not lead to reacting to it if you are not transmuting it. So if you transmute the fear, if you form a relationship with it, then there's not going to be this tension in your body. You're not going to feel this, like, you're not going to keep going back and forth. In fact, your fear will show you exactly what it needs for it to be free and for it to leave. Dwelling in the fear, though, that's what keeps you reacting and acting on that fear. But when you form a relationship with it, when you see all emotions as just emotions and just sensations in the body, nothing scares you from there. Because when you think about it, do you fear feeling happiness and passion? Like when you're happy, are you like, oh my God, this is going to ruin my manifestation, and you try to avoid it? No. Because your perception of it is that it's healthy. And all feelings are healthy to be felt to an extent. To an extent. I'm not saying romanticize the fear. I'm not saying film yourself crying and putting music to it. I mean, I'm not judging anyone, but I'm saying, like, my point is, it's not about romanticizing the fear or leading with the fear. It's working with it so it no longer has a hold on you, and you can see it as just an emotion, just sensation in the body. I've been in fear acting mode for a year, at first to keep me safe, then it overflooded me, made me react more. Recovering now. Yeah, I believe there's like teachings that maybe will be well intended, but it's not always taught in the best way. Because, like, what does it mean to observe your feelings? So the observer means you are looking at what is happening in your body. You're approaching it with curiosity. Let's see, what is the sensation? What is it trying to tell me? So that way you're not saying, I am this fear. It's, what is this trying to tell me? And then you can be there with it. When you practice every single day, letting go of that fear, or rather forming a relationship with it, and then you transmute it and practice the opposite of what you felt in your body, you will shift your state. So let's say you feel like there is tension in your muscles when you think about that job interview, because you're used to being rejected and being told you're not skilled enough. So if you sit and feel this tension in your muscles, be there, look what it needs, probably needs reassurance, reassure it, be there with it. And then when it starts to soften a little bit, feel your muscles relaxing instead. Relax each muscle. You can do it through a visual. You can tell it relax. You can do EFT. You can just sit there and meditate on the sense of relaxation. So this is when you transmute it. I used to feel not chosen since childhood, as I used to get compared with my sister. This is a very common example, yeah. But as I'm working on my self-concept, I don't feel the same. And if sometimes my old self pops up, might I revise that? And that if it was my past version, not present. So revision is fine. I'm not against revision. I'm just against when it's taught as a way to escape or to not look at it because you feel ashamed, because that just keeps you in shame. And it does, like, the purpose of this method that Neville Goddard coined is to change the perception. Changing the perception changes the state, changes the beliefs, changes the story. And so you shift the momentum of energy. So a good way to do that is also somatic practices. I'm sure you heard of nervous system regulation stuff, such as cold showers, 2-minute cold shower in the morning, rubbing ice cubes on your like your face and your neck. You have probably noticed that when you go to the gym, you almost feel lighter after that, or when you go for a run, that's because you move the energy in your body. So if you stand up, anyone here who's feeling stiff right now, if you stand up and just shake your body for a moment, get that energy out, you will feel it move. Or when you dance intuitively, dance as in listening to your body, or play music that describes how you're currently feeling, dance in a way that helps you express it in a healthy way. That way, you won't need to react because you've already expressed it in a way that allows you to transmute it. Other forms of somatic release is obviously EFT tapping, emotional freedom tapping. There's havening practice. There's so much. It's about finding your groove. Of course, breath work is fantastic. I love breath work. It gets more oxygen in your body, allows your body to calm down, allows your brain to calm down. And that's what leads to relaxation, right? And then another aspect of releasing old stories and wounds is you can see what happened and not make it your identity. So as someone who, I'm going to talk about mental health for a moment. As someone who has had several diagnoses before, from CPTSD, ADHD, all that stuff, I know it can be hard to almost not see yourself through just that perspective. And I'm not saying invalidate the diagnosis. It's helpful to follow the doctor's orders, and it can really help you to accept yourself, to realize there was nothing wrong with you. It's just something that our brain is doing. But seeing it as that is seeing it as something helpful. You can forgive yourself. Or maybe, I know for me, anyone here who's a neurodivergent, maybe if you used to blurt things out when you were a child and always told that, you say the wrong things in social situations, so now you feel awkward speaking out loud, or you always feel like you're going to mess up. So these diagnoses can definitely help you with making peace with that, accepting and knowing that it was never your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. Obviously, you don't need a diagnosis to just see that. My point is, we can take the helpful parts of it, but not limit ourselves and blame everything on the diagnosis. That goes as well with, what are they called? Like human design stuff, astrology. Nothing wrong with following that, as long as you're not making it your identity enough to see that, oh, because today it's Capricorn, whatever, that now I can't manifest. That, oh, I'm a Sagittarius and this person is Gemini, I don't know, so we won't click. I don't know the exact things, but you can take, for example, astrology to maybe understand your current self-concept a bit more as a way to upgrade, versus keeping yourself small, that, oh, because I'm a Sagittarius, that I have to always be the person who's easily fired up. So we have to learn how to change our perspective about things, and also learn how to truly forgive ourselves. And forgiveness has been a huge thing that I've been working on over the past week. I know it can be incredibly hard to forgive someone who has hurt you deeply, or to forgive yourself for being in a situation or feeling like you manifested it, so it's your fault. I understand how hard it can be. And it's almost like we see it as, if I forgive, then it means that what I went through was invalid and I'm in the wrong. Babe, you're in the right because you're in the right. That's it. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it's interesting that again it led to forgiveness, even though the title was not about forgiveness. What he said is like, it's almost like we've been taught to step into a state of like arrogance because we don't want to forgive, and forgiveness is now rare. It's all about being petty, sending snake emojis, or maybe that was just me. Don't send snake emojis. Excuse me. Almost like the sense of pride that no, I'm not gonna forgive. Forgiveness heals you and frees you, and you get to decide whether or not you manifest the person, you let them back in your life or not, and that can be anyone. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. And that just like it almost gives you the closure that you've been looking for. Because we know that no matter how many times sometimes we ask someone, why did you do this? And they tell us why. Sometimes it doesn't sound good enough for us. Sometimes it's just like, I don't know, man. That doesn't sound good enough. You could have still done XYZ. So through forgiveness, you can truly find the closure that you're seeking. And so now you're not going to see it as because these other people betrayed me in the past, that these next people will betray me in different ways, whether it's through cheating, expecting the person to leave you for someone else, expecting your friends to out you for something you kept between you, all of that stuff. And most importantly, self-forgiveness. Like I was just talking to a client who said she's been resisting coaching with me because she feels ashamed of something she did before, and she didn't want to be judged for it. And she described herself as like small, not valuable. And when we have that judgment towards ourselves, we obviously expect other people to judge us that way. And so we live with that judgment and we take them into our relationships, even with coaches, that I'm the person who's not valuable. So even if this person, let's say you get the best version of her, they give you all the love in the world or all the money, or you get these amazing clients, you're always going to have it in the back of your mind that they might find out this thing about me that will make them feel disgusted by me. Or I will be in this group of friends where I'll be left out. Or what did I do to get such a good person? What did I do to deserve so much love? And we find a way to push it away. Then we create distance, emotional or physical, So that's why forgiveness and self-forgiveness is so important, while also taking that to empower you in the sense that now this is my high standard, now this is my boundary, now this is my relationship with myself, and this is what I choose to receive moving forward from people. So using it as a form of empowerment rather than something to drain you, keep you small, and so on. And reframe it. It's not because of your diagnosis, but a list of symbols from the diagnosis, not the other way around. Very true. Yeah, body scans definitely work. Body scans, a meditation, yeah, it's a form of meditation. Also, mindfulness is fantastic. Recently called someone out for their harmful behavior after forgiveness. Was so freeing to experience. I could have gone into victim mode, but I chose to forgive. Wasn't much calling out, more like mentioning. Yeah, I don't always like tell people. I mean, if it's something like business or stuff, obviously I'll call people out because I'm like, this is business time. I have to be in the 3D at the moment, but I also have to be aware what state I'm coming from when I'm setting that boundary, right? I did this year talk to one person who I've not spoken to in years, and I reached out because it was an inspired action for me. I just felt like it felt right to reach out and call the person out for past bullying. I've experienced a lot of bullying for like 5 years straight in school, and it's almost like that inspired action. Like I was already working on believing that I have done nothing wrong, that I was perfect as I am, and even if I was like the awkward one, that I still deserve to be lovable. And even if someone didn't like it, that does not make it okay to harm someone, right? So I've been working on, that story and seeing them as, young children who had their own insecurities projected onto me because I was the easy target then. And eventually that led me to feeling like, okay, I want to talk to this person and just say it. And I said what I wanted to say. I got a 4-minute voice message, complete apology, no excuses whatsoever. And they literally told me, you did nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with you. I was just following the crowd. It's exactly what I was working on. So, yeah, 4 minutes. I did not need the apology, even though, like, obviously the rest part of me was like, she better not say that that stuff didn't happen, trying to make me feel crazy. But at the same time, then I reminded myself the reason why I even reached out is because I felt called to, not because I need to. No matter what she says, she can literally apologize and I would still not feel good. So I made it my responsibility how I'm going to feel before and after. So then I dropped the whole, she better not say this. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I frame like people who don't drink because they're alcoholic because they drink too much. And people have their own stories. We cannot judge, as well, things like that. It's usually a result of a lot of stuff happening. All right. Let's see. So then third step of the process. So we said first step, clarity. Second step, releasing old wounds and stories. Third step, connecting and merging with your higher self. Ooh, I love this. So I first want to say, where did that freaking slide go? Okay, so I had a slide that said your higher self is not some celestial being that has wings and they just fly and are indestructible and immortal and whatever. Higher self is the next and the best version of you that you can think of. It's the person who has their habits, their reactions, their feelings, their style, their standards, their interests, the relationships that they want, their relationship with manifesting that they want. They show up as that unapologetically. It's the version of you, not just the one who has everything that they want. It's who are you being and how do you respond when life shows you the opposite? When you're in the in-between moment between now and your desire, how does the highest version of you approach that? What is the automatic reaction? What set of beliefs, core values, and ideas and morals and ethical beliefs and things that they have? What are their interests? What are their place? What is the place that they hang out at? So drop in the comments answers to some of these. When you think of your higher self, what does this person look like? How do they carry themselves? How do they walk through life? If they're not playing small anymore with their business, with their SPs, with their money, what are they doing? What are they investing their money in? Because it's not just about the number in the bank account. What core values do they live with? How do they feel and believe when it comes to manifesting? You're not word vomiting. You're welcome to take up all the space. I have one doubt. Let's say I have a flaw. Another person usually don't have that flaw. I feel that person's ethics and morals in other areas are good, and they do better in other areas because of their principle and values. So I feel since I have that flaw, my thinking will be the same in other areas. Perspective shift point. Let me read that again. So you think you will, because of a flaw you have, you will perceive everything through that flaw? Am I hearing that right? Can you please clarify?
Yes.
Okay, got you. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. It's like, this is going back to like the identity stuff, because it's like, you are not your flaw. What you are is a person with many layers. Like when we think about insecurities, I always tell my clients, you are not an insecure person. You are a person with insecurities. You are not a messed up person. You are a person with demons. There is a difference in the way that you see it, right? And flaws are changeable. If things like smoking addiction can be changed, obviously a flaw can be changed. And if you are aware you have a flaw, then you can be aware of it when it comes up. But the question here is, are you being gentle with yourself when you see that flaw come up? Because it sounds like this is where you would need forgiveness. And I totally relate to this because I mentioned on my live yesterday that I've always kind of had a thing with anger where I would like lash out or yell. Now it's not as common. Like this is the calmest I've ever been. The calmest year. I think I snapped a few times, or I lashed out twice, I think, this year only. And for me, that was not common. I would like snap, snap, snap every week. And I know that it was difficult for me to move forward because of all of the judgment that I held against myself and looking at people who harmed me before. I was like, I don't want to be that person. So I was so hard on myself until very recently that I always had this thing, and I working on this whole I don't want to be seen as aggressive. And as I've been like working on this, I noticed that a lot of times it's difficult to let go of that stuff, not because of this habit is difficult to let go of, but it's because we go about it with the approach of this needs to go away. Otherwise, I'm a piece of shit. I'm not good enough. I'm going to be exactly like this other person, or like that parent who did not show up for me. We put strong labels on who we think we are, and that is what keeps it like very active. And this is where the self-forgiveness comes to play, because I had to look back at situations where I did lash out, people were still there for me, and I was like, well, guess I didn't deserve it. So I had to look back, forgive myself for that, and based on that I take action to show up better when I'm not in a good mood, So hope this gave you some perspective on approaching your flaw.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not in terms of talking with someone. Whenever I come to mind, I just say that I forgive you. I understand it was their own insecurities and the way they behaved, and my part of self-concept played as well, so I forgive myself too. Yeah, that's very true. Unidentification. Confident woman who has it all. Everybody wants to spend time with me. Exactly. Why do you want to be adored by everyone? And when you're not adored by everyone, this goes back to the clarity segment. When we're not adored by everyone, how does this make us look at ourselves differently? How do we feel and walk through life when we feel unlovable? Open heart meditation is very nice, to forgive yourself and to forgive other people. Yeah. I know someone has a channel called Manifests with Jess. Her channel before was Jessica Heslop, if I'm saying the name right. She has a forgiveness meditation that I recommend. Okay, so you see everything you're saying, like I'm the prize, the most charming, magnetic personality. Okay, so in the clarity segment, I want you to go back to that and really break down what is someone, how would you describe someone with a magnetic personality? What does it truly mean to be charming? When you know you're irresistible, how do you approach people? How do you speak? How do you speak about yourself? Because probably the person who thinks highly of themselves doesn't post self-deprecating memes, right? Yeah, I'm happy to actually link the forgiveness meditation. So I'll grab that in a moment. Okay. Let's see what else in the comment. I would feel scared if everyone wants to spend time with me. There we go. So you see that? That's here you can look at the payoff. I'm safer alone, and I don't want to be in the spotlight. So anyone who comes close to me is like, no. or it could be more with like friendships or groups of people that you are interested in and you find yourself not fitting in, or you're waiting for them to make the first move because to yourself the self-concept is like, either I'm going to make a fool of myself, or I'm not going to be accepted or left out, whatever it is for you. So there we go. I found the forgiveness meditation. Let's throw it in there. It's in the comments. All right, so why do I talk about higher self? Because I want you to start manifesting from your highest version, not from your limited self. I don't want you setting goals based on what you think you can have, what is allowed, what you deserve. I want you to step into your highest version, be them, then manifestation will be 10 times easier. I'm not saying don't manifest your desires right now, please do. But also prioritize meeting your higher self. So I like to do this with my clients in like live sessions where we work on like finding your medium of communication, finding your groove with like connecting your higher self, meeting them, understanding what they look like, asking them questions so you get guidance. So we look at ways where you can communicate with them and get answers back, and you know that it's coming from them, that it's not just from you in your head, right? And the more you do that, the more you will be able to capture the vibe, the energy of that person's lifestyle, of how they are feeling when they are irresistible. What is it like for them to continue to be 1, 2, and 3? How they feel when they're spending money, how they feel when they receive money. How do they feel when they receive compliments? Do they reject them because it feels awkward? Because that means they're close to receiving. But if they're open, how does their heart feel? What is it like to lead with an open heart and see the world through loving eyes? What is it like to live in a peaceful environment within and without? So that's the purpose of meeting your higher self. So meeting them and also identifying the qualities of I am. I am, as we know, is like the you who's connected to the divinity, to the divine, whatever you want to call it, to source, to God, to your highest self, does not matter. Looking at what the qualities are of that divinity and stepping into that so that you embody these characteristics and have that connection to source. I'm saying source to keep it general. I know there are different beliefs here. So when I say source, the reason why I stress this so much, it's not because I'm trying to project my own beliefs. I truly, truly do not care if people have the same beliefs that I do. It's that in the past year, I've been working on growing spiritually in different ways. And I noticed when I see that, oh, it's just me and God against the world, like nothing can come in between us. It feels easy to just like the days that I want to give up, I can just leave it in source, universe, God, higher self's hands, whatever. They'll sort it out for me. I've done my piece. And that helps me like drop the resistance and the need to control things to make it happen now, to figure out the how and the when, because I know that something out there is figuring it out for me. So enhancing spiritually, growing spiritually in whatever way that looks like for you, even if it's just crystals and charging them. Growing spiritually, embodying the qualities of I amness, meeting your higher self, learning how to communicate with them, receive guidance. That is how you become so connected within that nothing out there gets in the way. Do you have meditations to meet your higher self? There's a lot, on YouTube. I have one in QIL, but I generally like to go about it intuitively, like first lead the person with what they're working through and help them meet their higher self and ask like specific questions related to their desires. So you can do it that way. The one that I did recently online, let me see, what is it called? I'll send it in a moment. Yeah, there we go. So it's called Connect to Higher Self Guided Meditation by New Horizons. So I'll find the link for that and I'll send it here in a moment. But it's like 55 minutes long, and the reason why I chose that is because it takes me some time to quiet my mind. I don't want to continue to identify with the diagnosis that I mentioned, but it's also valid and it's also a superpower in some way, in many ways, actually, with my manifestations. There you go. So if you want to play a little bit with higher self stuff, I'm putting meditation here for you. Okay, so once you have identified your higher self and looked at their lifestyle, their habits, like the habits of a wealthy person, the habits of the it girl, the habits of the rich girl, the habits of the lucky girl, and you start implementing them now, you will capture that vibe again, capture that energy, get closer. And from there, you will find yourself losing interest in your old habits. So I want you to let me know in the comments, what is a habit that you are currently doing that your future self or higher self or you in the end state would not do? What is a current habit? Drop it in the comments. Having a disorganized and messy room, reacting to people who are treating me wrong and staying angry at them. So can you think of 1 to 3 habits that the new you would have instead? Sorry. I know someone sent me. Okay, it doesn't matter. Not eating on time, being lazy, not doing much. There we go. Worry about third parties, being impatient, feeling lack, prioritizing home chores and family more than myself. I'm guessing this is where you get different third parties, not necessarily as people, but situations that show you like you're not the number one, even if it's just at work. Like your colleagues may be getting more recognition or promotion, things like that. Responding instead of reacting more. I would break that down, also what that means for me. So here's the one I want to address. Someone said, a person who never commits a mistake, or a person who commits but would not be harsh on them. So the first bit, a person who never makes a mistake, I want to say, people might say this is limiting, but that's not possible. And the reason why I say it's not, you don't have to take everything that I say, but you will always be on a journey to the next desire and the next desire and the next desire. And throughout that journey, you grow in different ways. You understand things about yourself. You let go of specific habits. So holding yourself to a standard where you want to be at a place where you never commit a mistake, it sounds to me like I feel like I'm someone who makes a lot of mistakes, or I feel like when I make a mistake, I feel unworthy, or I feel not intelligent, or whatever it is that is for you. Or like, when people say never wanting to be sad again. You as a human being, you have something beautiful, which is all the emotions in the world. And these emotions are there to be felt to an extent, as I always say. And as we know, many laws of the universe, as much as we try to resist it, we don't just change the laws of the universe. One of them is the law of polarity, right? And your higher self would not be afraid of feeling the polarity. It would ride the waves. It's like, that's exactly it. How would your higher self feel when she makes a mistake? How would your higher self, if they're not being hard on themselves, how do they not be hard on themselves? How do they continue to move forward and become even better? How do they stay centered in their new beliefs, Jenny? How do they deal with resistance when it comes up? pausing more before saying something, be more conscious, be more patient, prioritize feeling calm. Yeah, exactly. It's like when something sad happens, trigger warning, let's say the loss of a loved one, you don't want to laugh at the funeral. You know, you're allowed to grieve. If anything, grief means you still have love for that person, which is a beautiful thing to still have no matter what, no matter how much time passes, right? So, if anything, being afraid of our feelings, being afraid of making a mistake, afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, that's what makes the rejection and the failure happen more. It's what makes our relationship with ourselves toxic as well. Because, like, think about it this way. Let's say you have a partner, or actually, you know what? Your friend comes and tells you, hey, my partner said I should stop crying. Ugh, it's so stupid that I'm crying over this thing. And oh my God, I've gained so much weight. That's what he keeps telling me. You're not going to like hearing that. You're going to tell her this is not a healthy situation. So why treat yourself that way? It's like if you would never say that to a best friend, never say it to yourself, or even a stranger on the street. You would not go to someone and say, I don't think you're intelligent enough, bro. You dropped this when you were walking to your car. You know? I hear you, Paula. Am I saying your name right? Now, when it comes to like showing up as your higher self, part of that is doing, I just threw the term shadow work there. It's not a term I use much just because I kind of disagree with certain things in the community of that. I'm all for releasing our emotions and making peace with them. I'm not, again, about romanticizing them. So continuing to work on your fears and insecurities leads you closer to your higher self. I promise you, when you learn to tap within, to connect in meditation with that family inside of you, with your higher self, it will all give you direction, exact steps or things to do, or new perceptions that help you drop these fears and insecurity. Here's an example, a message that I got in meditation before, or you can call it guidance, download, whatever. I was told, and this is never something I never thought of before, something no one told me before, which is let go of the need for the future to be perfect and leave room for messiness. So what that meant to me, like when I first heard it, it's almost like we are creating our realities, and because I'm someone who's so used to like getting things done and work, I want everything to be on time and perfect, that I've done that with my desires too, that it led me to a place where sometimes I'm like, I can't have this thing unless it's A, B, and C. And there's a difference between a standard out of excitement and joy, and yes, I deserve it, versus because I'm scared of it getting messy, because I'm scared of how I'm going to feel when I fail. And so allowing for room for things to be messy when I was reflecting on friendships is making it okay for me to be messy sometimes, for us to have arguments sometimes, because it gets us closer, it gets us to understand each other, it gets us to move through life together. Because when we look at any scripting, we say our partners, our friends are there for us through thick and thin. They love supporting us. So in order for us to let them support us, there's going to have to be some messiness here and there, and that's not a bad thing. It's that we don't want life in general to be messy. We want to generally have a stable lifestyle, stable self-concept. And in any self-concept that you're going to have, you're going to experience happiness, sadness, joy, love, passion, all of that. With that being said, I want to say a state is an identity, such as I have a successful business. That state, whether you have a successful business, a job, a dog, family, no matter what the identity is, you experience all the emotions, right? So you falling apart sometimes does not mean you're out of the state. You're out of the state when you're not in the identity, when you're showing up as old you, and when you identify in step 1 in the clarity and identify the ways you can move from point A to point B, you're going to do damage control every time. Let's see. You're saying it right with an English accent. Sorry. Sorry. Can you type in the comments how to say it? I would calm myself, let those emotions come up, release them gently, still believe I'm worthy of what I have set my heart out for, not caring of how I will shift to preferred reality, but knowing that I will. Exactly. Because you know how, like, if you have a home, you're an identity of I'm a homeowner. You know that you're going back to that house, whether you feel happy, sad, bored, excited, whatever. So feelings are never the issue. Work doesn't leave room for embodiment. Yep. Says it's a way of avoiding feeling. It can be that. Sometimes tears of joy into my eyes naturally while scripting, visualizing. If I've achieved something, I've always desired. Is it okay? Yeah, of course. If it's tears of joy, if it's helping you tap into it, yeah, why not? I would just look into, are these tears of joy making me hate the current reality or want to like get away from it quickly? Because this is where, you know, we can like, that can be a sense of a little bit of lack in the background, you know, that, oh, I don't want to look at this. I hate this. Hating and detesting our current reality. We know we resist persists. It just keeps us in there more, you know? Oh, oh yeah. So the last one here obviously is stepping into self-sovereignty. The more you're like, this is what I want. This is the love that I receive. This is the respect I receive at work. These are the types of clients that I have. This is what I do with my money and what I don't do with my money. And you're strong with these boundaries. You're strong with your relationship with yourself. Like a boundary with myself, honestly, I will never let myself talk myself down when I look in the mirror. I have a history with that. I'm not going to do that. I'm never criticizing myself because I deserve better. So instead, I will look at, what am I feeling here? Let's be gentle with it. And now let's practice the new one. But standing in front of the mirror, calling myself names for how I look is a big no. That's a boundary with myself. So you step into that self-sovereignty. And then from there, no one can tell you no with what you can and cannot have in your reality. Thank you. It's an amazing example of home. 4th step. Now, why is this a 4th step, not the 1st step? So how would this be a 1st step if we did not know what is in the way so we can clear it out in the 2nd step? How would that be the 1st step if we don't have a clear, vivid picture like the one I painted earlier? How would that be a 1st step if we're not clearing the insecurities? Because that's what most people do, right? Let's affirm, let's script, and you leave everything else. So you get in there, you feel the state, and then once you open your eyes, it's like you're out of it again. And approaching the quantum leaping from your highest version, your highest self. Remember when I said manifesting is your highest self? When you approach it that way, it's so easy for you to like go in as the new you. Like you're going in with what you're accepting moving forward, with that deep self-love, being so rooted in who you are, being so certain about yourself, having that it girl routine, let's say, and that perspective on finances. Now when you go in and practice the new story, it's going to be super easy. And when you practice quantum leaping, use the clarity that you did in step 1 and maybe even revisit it and tweak it, add more to it, because you will find throughout the journey that there are things that you've uncovered that will help you with like making your story more vivid, or you notice I was settling, actually I was saying this, but I actually want this, you know, things like that. So use that for a more crystal clear vision. Like, you know, that example I gave earlier about you know, being a working mom and having kids and person who has your back and how he has, or he, she, they has your back, how they take care of you. That vision is totally different. So now you can tap into like that softness, that ease, that it's almost like feeling like, you know, when someone has their, like they're hugging you from the back, that's what it's like to be supported, you know? So stepping into that is a great way to embody it. Yeah, so you can see your mini meditation. So the mini meditation is one of the live videos I've done before about stepping into the quantum field, accessing the quantum field, sorry. Somewhere in the live I did that meditation. I couldn't like pinpoint it today exactly where, because I was finishing this up. But I did like a little quantum leap practice just to give you a taste of what that's like and how it feels. So is that making sense so far? Yay, Hannah. Yes, perfect. Okay, so how do we actually do it? First of all, we want to get our bodies on board with our brains. What does that mean? Because I use this statement a lot. Your brain can easily know that it's here in this moment. It lives in a safe house. It lives with safe people. But your body might still be in the past, which is why, like, let's say if you experience like growing up in an unsafe home, if anyone like yells or raises their voice, it almost like triggers something new, makes you want to cry almost. It's like your body is processing till now, right? So you want to bring your body on board with your brain by obviously the somatic work, what we talked about, and everything in step 2. And then from there, we want to practice in the body after you've released that stuff, the new state. And when you practice, the most important piece here, bring in safety and connect it to that reality. Because most of the time, we move out of a state because we don't feel safe in the new state. And I know that Gay Hendricks talks about it a lot in his book, The Big Leap. He talked about how we have something called the upper limit problem. The upper limit problem is where like we feel like we hit a glass ceiling with our emotional level. So if you're used to, let's say, always being like depressed, being happy almost feels out of reach. And the moment you get into it, it's like it feels so limited that it only lasts like, sorry about that, that it lasts like 10 minutes for you. Have you ever experienced that, where you tap into a feeling, a state, a mindset, and then you snap out of it just like that, or it feels overwhelming once you get into it? So it's about familiarizing yourself with the new reality, meaning being enough in that new reality while making it safe and teaching your body to respond as the new you. So if you notice throughout the day the things that trigger you, look at, how does my body feel about this? How is it responding and reacting to this? Take note of that. When you have time to make space for it, release it in the way that works best for you. Then work on familiarizing yourself with the new reality. And if you're someone who feels like your body is very much stuck in like a freeze state, like you cannot fully access your emotions, you would definitely benefit so much from step 2. I don't feel comfortable with those feelings. I feel like moving on to the next thing, then this should be enough to manifest, and I will continue with the rest once it's here. I totally resonate with this because I did the same. And I'm going to say something to you that not many coaches say. The way you feel right now is the exact same way you're going to feel when you have your desire. How? But I will be out of debt. I won't be broken up with. Won't be this. I hear you. But once it settles that, oh, you've had this for like 3 weeks now, you're going to continue to feel the exact same way. You're going to show up the exact same way. And I know it's triggering to hear that, because I promise in 2020, I literally remember doing that. that, oh, but at least when I get this, it won't be as hard. I will work on it, but it won't be as hard because my circumstances would have changed. Trust me, it doesn't work that way. You will look for the next thing to be attached to and to wonder that if it's going to change when the rest comes through. And if you're not comfortable with your feelings right now, how can people support you? How can the people you want to be there for you continue to be there? You know? And again, not your fault. I'm pretty sure that at some point you were told either it's wrong to feel this way, or you were taught to not be vulnerable, or you were around people who are cold, or will tell you, like, stop crying. That makes us feel like it's wrong for us to feel that way, or it's weak, or maybe you used to be very sensitive and you were shamed for it, and now you feel like you kind of have this wall up. And here's the thing, when we're not comfortable with our feelings, it's almost like we feel rigid, and we have these walls right up in our hearts, and that doesn't allow the desires to come through, or they come through and then it leaves, and it comes back and leaves. And the more you practice like being okay with this, the now, the more you're going to live in the end. Because when the end state is truly being peace and a present in the now and what you have, right? So you have to practice feeling that now. That's why resentment does not lead us anywhere. Resentment towards our reality, towards people, towards ourselves. No, it's not triggering. I know I feel the same. That's my default. Yeah, I totally understand you. I totally understand. I really do, because I've been there not long ago. So this is clarity for you. Diverting yourself from your feelings by starting doing work or listening to music. Yeah. You know, when we say, oh, let me meditate so I can make this go away, that's also a form of escapism. It's about getting to a place where you're truly comfortable with it. Once you are comfortable, sat with it enough, let's say 10 minutes, 15, 20, then do the thing that makes you feel good and shifts your state. Maybe the first time will be an hour, and the next time 20 minutes, the one after 50 minutes, then 5. Moving on, it will be so easy to shift. It will be the thing that's not going to be there long. Okay, so the practical side of things here. The practical side is obviously what I love. A habit breaker. So this is like a framework that I like to use, and I talked about it in a comment today, or my response to a comment about my reel, where somebody asked me, like, how do you like satisfy the ego or give the ego what it wants without like feeding into the old story, so you're not fighting your ego anymore, right? I see the ego as a friend. It's just telling you what you're focusing on and what to take your attention away from. So I told this person that a good way to break the habit is look at what is the old habit giving you as a feeling. So let's say you're looking at SP stories, or you're trying to avoid looking at your bank account, or you are looking to see if your clients reached out. What you're probably seeking here, it's probably reassurance or safety or freedom. So you can give your ego exactly that safety, freedom, reassurance with a new habit. And every time you apply that new habit, instead of triple texting, checking the story, then you will break that habit. And you will give yourself the exact feeling that you want. And it will continue to build that momentum of the new you. The one who's at peace, who keeps herself centered, who is always showing up for herself. I read your reply to that comment. And that way you will step back into empowerment. But it's also important, like when I said with those fears, it's about meeting yourself where you're at so you can guide yourself to the next place that would lead you to the end. So that's literally the reason why I do coaching, literally. Because I can just do posts all the time. I'm great with content. And if I wasn't coaching right now, I would still post. It's about meeting you where you're at so we can take you from your individual journey to the next one. So being very gentle with yourself in the process is really important. Like, how would you want your friend to be there for you, or how would you be there for your friend? How do you get them out of it, right? You probably sit there, you let it out, cry, then you give her a hug, you go out maybe for some frappuccino from whatever coffee shop that you like, and things like that. So this is a good example of like being there for yourself in a way that moves the needle and moves you towards what you want, not away from it. Gratitude is very helpful for accepting the now and living in the end for me. Every time I feel bad, I try to do gratitude practices to give myself some peace. That's good. But are we doing this just to run away, or is it because we like it? But you said, yeah, accepting the now. Do you have an example of what that looks like, those gratitude practices? To be very honest with you, I forgot what I was saying. I forgot what I was saying that's about gratitude. Can you expand on your question? I apologize. How to give the feeling with the new habit, like for checking story views. So question here for you. What are you looking for when you're waiting to see if this person looked at the views? If he's still checking on me. Okay. So what does it mean if he's still checking on you? What would that give you? That he cares. Okay. So if he cares, and I'm asking a lot, but that's the point of it. If he cares, how would that make you feel about you? How would it make you perceive yourself and the situation differently? Valued. There you go. So that's what you're looking for. You want to feel valued, cherished, lovable. So you do something in that moment that makes you feel valued. So I don't know what it is for you that helps you. For me, it could be writing down 50 things I love about myself, or write down 2 things you like about yourself and expand on each one. Like, why does that make you awesome, valuable, and amazing? Dressing up in a way that makes you feel like, hello, look at me, high standards and shit. So these are good examples. When you do that every time, you no longer need to look at the views, right? So that's just like an example. Now my question here is, are we valuing ourselves enough every single day the way we want someone to value us? And with that being said, that goes back to clarity again. In what ways are you being your own ideal partner? In what ways are you not being your own ideal partner? So I want everyone to answer this question, whether it's with partner, being your own ideal client, being your own ideal friend, parent, whatever it is that you're looking for. Are you being that with yourself? In what ways yes, in what ways no? Drop it in the comments. I'll grab some water in the meantime. No, I'm not. I'm very harsh on myself, always self-criticizing, aiming perfection, but from today we'll work on it. Awesome. I love it. I love it. There we go. And while others are typing, I'll just get to the next bit, which is like custom mental diet, which is finding what is your mental diet. To some people, it's flipping the thoughts. To others, it can be on the spot revision. For a lot of people, that doesn't work because obviously we're all different people. So custom mental diet, an example could be for me, I've done before where I'm doing like inner conversations about my desires instead of like feeding into the opposite all the time. So the line obviously between that and avoiding how I'm feeling is like the feeling of resistance. So if I'm feeling very resistant, I tell myself, shh, it's okay, blah, 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 whatever it is I need to tell myself. And then the custom mental life, maybe like the inner conversation with a friend, with a client, you know, things like that. So it's about finding out what is your form of mental diet, not the manifestation culture one. I soothe myself in any way I can, but sometimes it feels like distraction. So here is when you know, time to get out of the comfort zone. You face it. I've learned to be my ideal partner, being there for myself and showing support for myself. Yeah. And you can look at like the 5 love languages and apply them to yourself. Okay. The last step. And I know it's interesting because usually people say self-love is the first step, and I would agree generally. But I know because this is like a 5-step process and I want it all to make sense and tie together. So I keep embodying self-love as the last step. It ties together all the previous steps. From there, you can like process everything that you've uncovered about yourself, everything you've let go of, everything you've stepped into, everything you said goodbye to and hello to, the different versions of you that you met, the higher self. Really integrate it all to solidify that self-concept. And that's how you maintain the results. And obviously, self-love helps you feel so worthy of your desires that it prevents you from like undoing the work that you've done. Because usually what gets us out of a state most of the time is mostly the self-sabotage that we do. Or, you know, the payoff and the stuff that we talked about at the very beginning. That's what stops us. I'm being my own ideal partners in a certain way, honesty, loyalty, kindness, not being my own, always being worried, stressed, paranoid, panicking. Okay, so how would you want your partner to soothe you? How would you want your partner to like give you a pep talk or to lift like your spirits up, treat your panic when worries and stressful moments? I appreciate myself every day, feel loved for the person I am, not choosing me before home chores many times. Okay. It's also common when I see, I've noticed this in myself a few years ago, not being present in the moment I'm doing something for myself. That's a form of self-abandonment. It's like when someone hangs out with you and they're just on their phone the entire outing, it feels rude, right? It's like, unless you're texting me the answer. So that's like a form of self-rejection, the same way you feel rejected by someone else. Yeah, having this since the beginning of manifesting, being in the state for 2 days. By 3rd day with no movement. Okay, so there you go. Remember when I said the thing that will move you back to point A? Yours is noticing the no movement and actually making movement even important. Inner complemental diet, nothing works. Okay. I've gone to my lowest point back. How do I enable myself to be more persistent? Persistence is not affirming in the moments when things are not working or when you're stressed. Persistence is continuing to be the person who is that. So here's an example. Let's say your finances are not changing. So the way that I did it before is like, even though I literally don't see a way out, I don't know how it's going to happen, somehow, some way, even if I don't believe it, something will work out. And I'm not saying this is an affirmation. It's a form of self-soothing and reminding myself that no matter what situation I've been in before, money always found a way to come in. So that's a way to like be persistent into the belief that money always has my back. So this is a good example. Or even ask yourself, if you got clear on your higher self and the qualities of that person, how they respond, ask yourself, like, pause, breathe. How would my new self look at this situation? How would they respond in that moment? And what can I do right now based on that info? Okay. All right, so 4 pillars of self-love. It'll make sense. It'll tie up everything. And it cleans up anything remaining from all the work you've done in the 4 previous steps. And it's actually like the easiest step now because you've done the hard stuff before. So now this is just going to be like, okay, deeper embodiment. Let's just like make this new story sticky more than the old, right? So the first thing here is self-acceptance, which is looking at all these past versions of you, as I mentioned, accepting them. Because self-love is looking at everything you were before, not feeling ashamed of it. Instead, learning from these mistakes and feeling compassion for the info that you had at the time. Self-acceptance is knowing that everything that you are is perfect as it is. And that happens when you meet these different parts of you again. When you are there for yourself. When you look at your flaws and no longer judge them, instead either use them as something to grow from or to grow with towards the direction of your desires in the best way possible. When you accept yourself, you don't have any resistance towards letting people in. Because a lot of times we say, oh, I want more clients, or I want more money, I want more of this. And what we tend to do is like, we bring up the baggage of what if they find out this thing about me? What if this flaw that I have puts them off? And that's what keeps away the clients, the money, the job, the person. The next piece here is self-respect. Self-respect goes in line with your self-talk. How do you treat yourself and how you speak to yourself matters. How much do you listen to your needs and to your boundaries? Are you giving yourself what you need? Are you putting yourself first truly? When you make a mistake, when you find yourself in an embarrassing situation, when you experience opposite results, how do you speak to yourself? This is where the self-respect comes to play. The next bit here is self-efficacy, which is your self-belief, how much you believe in yourself, in your capabilities. So let's say I'm just going to throw out some random questions. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you believe in your ability to truly change your life? Okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you believe that if you lose money, you will still be able to get it right back easily? Another one, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you believe that when your person sees all the parts of you, the dark stuff, the light stuff, the positive stuff, how much do you believe they will accept it, love you as you are, and help you grow? And then, applying this question maybe to specific situations, like how much do you believe in your abilities to let go of an old self-concept? How much do you believe in your ability to change your life? How much do you believe in your ability to execute tasks that work perfectly? How much do you believe in your ability to open your heart, to tap into a state? So looking at all of these questions really helps you like clean up the last bit of this process. And then lastly, integrity, which is showing up authentically, being yourself unapologetically. Can you tell people that your friends, that you have these spiritual beliefs or manifestation beliefs, that feeling ashamed? Can you tell people that this is the person that I want and I'm not ashamed of it? Or do we feel like we need to hide it? What parts of you or sides of you do you feel like you need to conceal, and why? So looking at all of that stuff, that cleans up the last bit of your story and just allows you to form that deep, self-loving connection with yourself. So before we get into the Q&A, I will just take like 5 quick minutes to talk real quick about my upcoming offer And then from there, we will get to the Q&A. I'll answer any remaining questions so that we close this off on a good note. So I'm sure if you've been here, been following me this year, then you know I have my signature one-on-one coaching mastermind, Quantum Your Life. This is an option for new clients to work with me one-on-one. It's my highest level of support. This program is created to help you develop unshakable, rock-solid self-image where abundance is literally flowing in every area of your life. Because we want to ignite that superpower that you know is within you. You just feel like you can't access it, or you just like this one step close to unleashing your highest potential. There's no more settling, no more people-pleasing, no more hiding parts of you. It's time that you show up as you want and live life on your own terms. It's time to have it all because you can, right? You said yourself, your highest version has everything that they want. Towards the end of the mastermind, you will be the person who is no longer going back and forth because you have that self-stability, that inner peace, that self-sovereignty. And so you end the hot and cold behavior with your friends, family, then you love. So if someone looks like you've got the business, the money, and success, and now you're ready to welcome in a new partner who's also at a 10 himself, herself, whatever, thriving at their pinnacle, this is for you. Or maybe for you, it's the opposite. You have that partner who's amazing, who's supporting you. You just can't seem to get that business going, right? You have a message that you want to share with the world, and it seems like no one is hearing you. So if you're ready for like this healthy lifestyle where you get everything that you want, people being at their own 10, being self-responsible for their emotions, showing up for themselves, and you, no more saving people, no more saving anything, and just winning and winning for yourself and for others, this is the mastermind for you. You will also learn how to quantum leap from needing a compliment to commanding your worth in every room you walk into and whoever you're around. Whether it's that ex, that crush, that friend, that one person always has something to say, that family member, because you know who you are, you have elevated spiritually, and now you're ready to savor that beautiful VIP life experience, right? And we use obviously the Quantum Embodiment Method inside there where it's personalized 100% to you. So just want to talk real quick about someone who just finished QIL. I'm just going to address the name as L for privacy reasons. She was at a job that she hated so much, and she was actually manifesting an internship for a while. She got it, but she was so unhappy at it. She didn't feel like it's aligned with what she wanted to do. And then eventually the internship came to an end and she was unemployed and just depending on her savings. And she also struggled with seeing results with her love life, right? You can see that here in the messages. And then she decided to join QIL so that we work on that together. Where she got by the end of the program, the first part of it, she was kind of struggling a bit with like uncovering all that stuff, felt heavy. And that's why it was helpful to have me in the DMs in between the calls so that I can guide her through, working through these emotions or self-regulating, reframing her perception on things so that she's not left alone. She has me in her back pocket whenever. And eventually halfway through the program, that's when she started to like really understand how this works and starts to process. So all of the subconscious work we've been doing started to really sink in there. And so she manifested a lot of movement with her person. She has manifested opportunities of money left and right. She manifested 500 euros. The person she wanted to fix her car, he actually bought her car. It was an old car she didn't want anymore. She was thinking of fixing it first or leaving it behind, and he decided to actually buy it from her. She got a new job on the 8th week that is sustainable and long-term, and she got clear also on a side hustle that she wants to achieve. She got into a place where she has so much self-love and body love, which is why she started getting movements with her person. And you can see her, she talked about how she felt so awesome in her body. She was channeling her inner bride, picturing herself as like a goddess, a queen. She walked with that queen energy. And the thing that really was transformative for this, that she said, it's almost like she knew all the concepts at an intellectual level, logically, but she didn't feel it or process it at a core felt level. And so the reason why we do the work in a way that's both mind, body, not just mind and not just body, is so that you get to a place where you know and understand these concepts truly. You see how your life has been pushed out all of these years in ways you can shift it. And you really start to get to this goddess energy where you are unstoppable. You sink in that identity fully. And as you can see here, she said she made a shift in the past 2 days, because once you know how to do it, it's like that. It's almost instant, the shift, right? You can see here how she has grown a lot more. She had also paid for her car insurance for a whole year ahead. So now the insurance is terminated and she's getting the whole money back as a refund. She got 3 cars from her stepdad to herself, as you can see in the message here. It's insane how this works. It really does when you do it right. And at some point, by the 4th week, she was like, oh my God, I'm still not getting results. It's almost halfway through. The week after, she got results, because your reality can shift that freaking fast. You just need a minute to just soak it all in, breathe it in, and integrate it on a deeper level. Just so to be clear, in this next round, I'm not doing SP coaching. I want to open more room for other people, possibly new love, but I want us to be self-focused truly, because I know most people who say that they want to focus on their self-concept, it's usually for an SP. And as I'm telling you, when you work on yourself, it's easy to get the SP. So if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to put the focus on yourself for 10 weeks straight, this mastermind is for you. It's open to coaches, it's open to business owners, it's open to people at a corporate job. It does not matter. We create something that is applicable to your lifestyle, your schedule, and your routine. So it used to be more calls, but now I've decided to make it more succinct, more straight to the point, by having a bi-weekly 90-minute call instead of 60 minutes. It's going to be 5 calls now. It's no longer 10 calls, because I know it can be a lot. And I want to give you space between each session to apply the homework that is personalized to you. So 5 one-on-one coaching calls for 90 minutes and 1 90-minute group integration session towards the end of the program, where we just revisit all these 5 steps, what you uncovered, and again, process it and integrate it again. Throughout the entire 10 weeks, you have access to me on Telegram. I check my messages twice a day, so I can read everything that you sent, reply to it fully, send a message again, and I check back at night, respond to every single text. With that, you also get an exclusive workbook of the Quantum Embodiment Method, so that you know how to apply it. And towards the end of the program, you get a custom plan that's tailored to you 100% and tailored to your schedule. With that being said, of course, there are so many transformative methods, meditations, and practices to transmute the energy, to get you into the right mindset, to quantum leap. The quantum leap meditation is everyone's favorite. And there are add-ons such as masterclasses, manifestation guides, things that I've not put out there before. You have a whole masterclass about EFT, why it works, how to use it to open your heart. You have a whole masterclass about neuroscience and quantum physics. So this is really high touch. It's like a VIP experience. It's all focused on you. You have my eyes, you have my ears for 10 weeks straight. A spot was already taken, and even though I didn't launch it publicly yet, so I have 4 spots left. We start in January. I know it seems like a long way, but we know how time passes so quickly. And if you sign up now, you get to have a custom meditation, access to manifesting school instantly, select any bundle of mine of your choice to work on till we start working together. The bundle will be yours forever. You will get to choose how much you want to make use of manifesting school, the bundle, if you want to use it fully until we work together, if you want to use it partially, whatever it is that you want, we can make it work in a way that you immediately have access to something that gets the needle or gets the ball rolling until we start working together in January. And once the spots are taken, there isn't any more access to me and one-on-one until the program ends in mid-March. So the spots will probably be available again in June. You can apply through this link that I just posted. And just the last few things. So the mastermind investment is 4,000 British pounds. Of course, there are payment plans, as you can see here, to make it so flexible to you. And I do not add any interest whatsoever. So that's not a me thing. If your bank charges you for currency exchange, it's not a me thing. I'm not the one charging it. And you see everything on the invoice and in the contract. So all of everything is claimed there. So the first two to apply, not just send their application, to actually sign the contract, make the payments, are the people who will get access to these bonuses if you do that by Sunday, 12th of November. So Sunday, which is coming in the next few days. And when you get this, the recording and the PDF file, you can click on apply here, or you can click on the one in the chat. Okay. So that's that for QIL. If you have any questions, you can message me directly and we'll talk about how we can apply the 5-step process to you, how we can make it personalized, what payment plan works for you, and more. So let's get to the Q&A. I had a feeling it was going to be 2 hours long. Okay, so let's take about 15 minutes. Put any questions you have in the comments, or if you want to turn on your mic, that's absolutely fine. Excuse me, I was drinking water. Okay. I broke down why I was obsessed with SP, core emotional needs, their caliber in all areas, which why I feel I deserve an equal match to me, physical attribute and body images, bodies in principle. Most of these factors are not exclusive, but for point 2, how do you find them in another person so that my obsession reduces, and also what to do with point 3. So for point 2, you said, how do you find them in another person? So what do you mean by their caliber in all areas?
Like developing a career, being smart, being presence of mind. How
So
do they
that's
handle
their qualities?
situations? Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a feeling of like not enoughness, like when you feel less than your partner. So this is where I would work on like doing a bit of like a pedestal shift, meaning like not putting your person down, but more so looking at what are your qualities and what about what this person does is admirable that I can also start doing, and what do you actually need to feel enough? Because there's always room for more, right? There's always room to be more successful, more abundant, more happy, more love. So what is enough truly? So it's about working on this feeling of enoughness, looking at, when did it start the first time you were told that you're not enough, or you were led to believe you're not enough. Apply step 2 to that, and then work on cultivating, everything you said in number 2, their qualities and their attributes, physical attributes and body language. Those 2 things, number 2 and number 3, I would apply to the higher self section, where I would look at like, what does that version of me look like? What steps do I need to take emotionally, physically, mentally? And you would benefit a lot as well from like the self-love work, because self-acceptance is also about accepting how your body looks right now, not accepting that this is final and I cannot have the body that I want. It's that a lot of people chase the body that they want because they're chasing the how, which is to feel attractive. So it's about
No,
making yourself
sorry for interrupting. Actually, like I find my SP very attractive. So, if, for example, if we want to decrease the obsession towards him, we should find any other person, like let's say XYZ, like that much attractive. So my problem is I'm not able to get attracted to other person, and I don't find that other person equal match to me. That is my problem.
Mm-hmm. So you
Yeah,
think like he's the best that you can ever have, basically,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
don't see
yeah,
yourself. Okay.
yeah.
It's fine if you want that person, nothing wrong with that. It's that when we make it like it's either this person or I'm not gonna be happy with anyone else, that's when it's an issue because we're making like ourselves resistant to being open to love coming through. So first off, let's admit that he's not the only person out there out of 7 billion. There are so many people out there who have these qualities as well. It's like, are you actually open to seeing that you can be attracted to someone else? I'm not saying be attracted. I'm saying, can you be open to the idea that there's many equal matches out there and you will choose the one that you want? That is like a more gentle way to approach it. And like everything he has, like you have him on a pedestal where it's like there's no one like him, and it's not true. You're still seeing him as like better than you in a way, or like he has things that are more attractive to you than in yourself. Like you can think you're amazing, but you see him like you have him at a higher level. So I want you to look at your relationship with yourself truly. Like take note, like have an awareness log. Like you keep a log of like your inner conversations or your self-talk with yourself when you look at your physical body, your communication skills, your body language, practicing making peace with that, looking at the childhood stuff that led to the insecurities while also knowing that there's so much love out there. And you feel like there's so much love out there when you tap into, you know, when I where I said receiving like that from source. So when you feel connected to yourself and to source, you will tap into infinite unconditional love. And from there, you won't see love limited because love is not limited to one person. Love is everywhere, and you choose the person, right? So that's a way I would go about it. Let me see if there was any other question that you said.
No, all good.
Okay. Obsession, there's usually an obsession because we're like, we don't see this thing within us and we see it, it's like in this thing and I can only have it this way. It's like we're trying to control the how. And if it was not this person, it would either be a body or it would be any other form of obsession because it's like, I need this. You need this because you're not satisfied or okay with where you are now. So this again goes back to like self-acceptance, and I would apply what I said about the habit breaker to the obsession. Every time you find yourself obsessed, what is something that helps you let go? Apply this new habit. So I hope this helps. Can you expand more on my question about persisting? Like, I cannot believe I will have it for more than 2 days. I start getting insecure. Is that an absolute? Like, is it an absolute that you cannot have something more than 2 days? Is it an absolute? Like, you might have evidence that things don't last forever, but you also have evidence of things that come through in state. Maybe you always had a roof over your head. Maybe you always had friendships, people who love you. So write down all of the things, the real things in your life right now that you've always had, that you've had for more than 2 days, things that have lasted long, things that are easy to have, and maybe just like allow yourself to take a week to meditate on having these things, the things that you already do have, so that you become like more connected and present with it and with that feeling, and then channel that towards your desires. So if you also like go back to this list, you can see that it's actually not true that things can't last for more than 2 days. And with the insecurities, when they come up on the spot, you have to work on them. You have to face them the way I said in step 2, and then you will start to let them go and the insecurities won't come up. Like the reason why you worry about no movement is because of these insecurities. So the no movement is like it's how do we call it? It's a symptom of that feeling of insecurity, of fear, of doubt, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Sorry, Rosanna, I'm just going back on your previous point. So, what I meant by not having more than 2 days is that I cannot be in the state of having it for like more than 2 days,
Mm,
because I'm getting very impatient with it. By the third day, if I'm not seeing the movement, I completely lose like all the
mhm,
work that I've done so far. I get insecure that I'll never have it, and
right,
I'm not meant to get what I want. So yeah.
right. Definitely, what applies from what I said till now is this sense of like not being okay with where you are. So acceptance work will help with that, self-acceptance, what I talked about. And then the other thing here, you said, sorry, my brain, yeah, not being able to stay in the state. We're not
Yeah.
able to stay in the state because you're still not teaching your body long enough. So what you want to do is like, let's say the state is peace.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the things in your life that give you peace. Let's say it's nature, it's a nice warm bath, whatever. If you can include that every day, then you'll practice feeling that. So instead of like 5 minutes, then 5 minutes once a day, then it's going to be 5 minutes 3 times a day. And then when you're in that state, allow yourself, okay, what if I feel this for just 5 more minutes, and expand the amount of time you feel it. And as you work on your insecurities, it's not going to be in the way of like you being in that state. And this also goes in line with, self-efficacy, where I said your belief in your ability to maintain a state, that goes in line with it. So it's about the self-concept that you need to step into, as well as like, I can step into any state that I want, and I'm satisfied with where I am now. It's okay for me to be in this reality. So look at what this reality gives you. In what ways are you experiencing joy, peace, safety, love, abundance? Even it could be one or two things on your list, but you can see like you're experiencing it in so many different ways. So it's about making peace with, it's okay for me to be where I am now, and where I'm going to be is going to be even amazing, versus I hate where I am and I have to get to the new state. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that does. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So let me just skim through questions real quick because I don't want to keep you all longer. Self-soothing. So examples of self-soothing would be like talking to your inner child, can be look up something called the butterfly hug, or even literally giving yourself a hug. It can be like meet your higher self and let her give you advice, guidance on love and soothe you. Give yourself the pep talk that you think your friend would give you, writing yourself a letter, things like that. And if it still feels like you're availing something, then you're most probably availing something. So put aside self-soothing first, let this thing come up fully. Just sit there. Don't try to force it. Do nothing. Just say you're welcome to be here. It's okay. When it comes up, let it be there fully, and then apply the self-soothing. When I talk about stepping out of your comfort zone, I mean doing the thing that scares you and then it won't scare you anymore, such as facing the feeling, because it feels like this is what you're scared of doing, facing it, because maybe you think you won't be able to handle it or it'll be too much for you. But if something is coming up right now, it's because you can handle it right now. Earlier mentioned a mini meditation. Yeah, so it's on the slides. You will see mini meditation written in blue. You can click on it when it's on the slides. So I'll send everything in 24 hours maximum. Dealing with no contact, feelings of missing SP, feeling like it's taking a while. Okay. No contact is not an issue. It's actually a great opportunity for you to manifest your person without distraction and manifest the best version of both of you. So seeing no contact as a blessing in disguise. As for missing the person, I believe it's normal to miss people and places sometimes, right? We all do. It's that, are we missing them from a place of like, this like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see them. Or is it pain? Because if it's pain, then there is kind of a void within you, a need that you're not meeting. So you need to go within and find out, what is that void? what does it need to be filled? And are you comfortable being alone? That's a question that I want to ask you. Are you comfortable being alone? Or is doing things alone feel sad or upsetting, or, things like that? Because in that case, I would challenge you to maybe have like a weekly date with yourself where you watch a movie and order your favorite food, maybe pizza, have this quality time. Yeah, nothing wrong with like liking to do it with people at times. It's that, do you prefer it in a way that makes you sad, that I wish I had someone? Or is it like, oh, I love what I'm doing right now and can't wait to invite this person over, would be awesome. And then going back to this fullness and wholeness. Because the fear of loneliness or missing from excited place, anticipating, sometimes I miss from a place of longing, even though I'm happy with myself. No, I understand. It doesn't mean you're not happy with yourself. It just means that there's something there missing. Maybe the feeling of connection, maybe the feeling of companionship. That's usually most of the time what that is. So looking for ways you can maybe connect with people more, with nature, with yourself, and all of that. Fear of being seen is holding me back from a long time. I had a plan of starting a podcast, but this is holding me back from taking action. Did you listen to my podcast? Because I talked exactly about that. I've been wanting to launch it since June, and I just launched it this month because I was afraid of being seen. So looking at what is scary about being seen. So for many people, it's judgment. If it's judgment, number one, why are we giving people any importance? And from there, look at how can I give my voice more important? Two, when we're not allowing ourselves to be seen, what we're doing is like we're placing a wall up. We're not allowing the thing to come through. So what are ways I can let my walls down, and what do I need to feel safe being seen? So doing that thing that will make you feel safer being seen. Also, when it comes to like this sense of being seen, probably when it's judgment, it's because you are judging yourself. So what are the judgments there? For me, the biggest thing was my voice. Like, it's gonna be annoying for people. It's gonna be the voice that they would want to listen to. Honestly, screw it. Listen to something else, I guess. I'm giving great info and you're here to listen to it. And now I'm loving my voice more and more. So owning that thing too. Do you have good books we could read to help us quantum leap? Any book you read can help you quantum leap, in all honesty. And what I mean is like the books that you read expand your consciousness and expand your mindset. So that helps you quantum leaping. That's why I'm so big on like reading books and podcasts. So if you read maybe a book about winner mindset or a book about forgiveness, it gets you into that consciousness. So it depends. What are you looking to quantum leap in? Yes, that makes sense. It's like I love being it's like I love unconditionally myself and want to share it with person and build a life together. Yeah. So manifesting from that place of love rather than pain. Let me see if I missed anything else. Oh, yes, I did. How to manifest consistent income without work. I don't want to work and my partner lost his income. How do you manifest anything? Like, it's not going to be a different process. You have to apply the 5-step process, and that's how you will manifest. It's like, it's that you're making it seem like I will not have what I want until I have income and my person has income. And you saw the client's success story that I shared earlier. She was just dependent on her savings, had no job. She ended up paying something in advance. She got money from a car from the person she was giving it to fix it. So I would look at what is your relationship with money. It's like if you can describe your relationship with money as a relationship with a person, how would it be? Would it be like when it shows it for me, I don't accept it, or I don't believe it, or I trusted, but then when they're busy, I think immediately that they're leaving me. You know, that could be like your attachment style. So looking into that, like, what is your money consciousness? What are your beliefs about money? Like, get a piece of paper, write a letter to money, let out all of your beliefs, all of your anger towards money, all the way it wasn't there for you and your partner, all the ways that it didn't show for you in life. Throw it away and then write a new letter, thanking it for all the way that it showed up for you over the past year or two, ways that it supported you financially, ways that it was there for you, why you can trust it, why it's safe to have it, things like that, why you are deserving of money, because money has to do with value, right? So this whole I feel I don't deserve money, it's like, what does that even mean? Like, I would look into some perspective shifts here. So I feel I don't deserve money. That's one way to look at it. What are 5 other ways you can look at it? What are 5 different perceptions people can have on this? And why are we tying our worth to money? Were you maybe told before when you were young that when you spend your, I don't know, whose money, that, oh my God, you spend too much, you don't care about us, you are a waste or whatever. That's just an example that I'm throwing out. So going back to that memory, changing that perspective, that feeling, giving yourself what you needed then, working on your self-worth, just your self-worth. Like, not your self-worth when you're successful, when you get good grades, when you get money, because that's probably going to be a thing in your life. Like, you always have to do something to earn your worth. So deprogramming that, like, define what is worth and define what is abundance, and understand that everyone in the world, good or bad, these are like, you can see the richest people in the world, not all of them are great people. Some of them are great people. So is it true that you have to be deserving to have money? Or is money just an excuse to not feel good enough because we already don't feel good enough? You know what I'm saying? So you would benefit a lot from step 2 again. I will work towards always manifesting from a place of love and being confident in my power. Yeah, you would benefit from like clarity on your new story. Like, an example could be when thinking about your future with your person, probably gonna be this future where like you're growing old together, like you're helping each other up, and they're still making you getting you flowers every Monday as they usually do. You know, when something's going on, they're still holding you, take a walk together every morning, gossip about your family members, things like that. So seeing seeing people through more loving eyes by forgiving people from the past, forgiving yourself, remembering what you love about your person, that will help you lead with more love. How do I ensure I've completely forgiven? Ugh. When you respond differently to the same situation, like when the same thing comes up, like the same flaw, the same circumstance, same criticism, and you feel completely differently, that's when you know you've shifted. All right, so I've kept you all year longer than we should. I know that over 100 of you will get the recording. Okay, so this was super fun. I want you to DM me or email me your feedback. Tell me, what is one thing you will do moving forward? What did you like about the session? And a perspective shift that you had. So thank you all so much for being here. I really intend that this helps you the best way possible, that it's so easy to apply. As you can see, it's just about knowing what you want. It's just about applying it the right way. When you do it right, you get it fast. You do it fast, you might not get it fast or right. So do it right to get it fast. And trust me, it's easy to do. It's just about pushing through and not stopping. If you keep stopping, that's when it stops. So don't stop. Ask your higher self for advice. Tell them that you're struggling to believe. Let them guide you from there. Know that you can do this. And if you're here, it's because you're ready to hear this information. For QIL, you can sign up with me anytime, but by Sunday, is when you can have the bonuses. As soon as the spots are taken, it's gone until March. It's gone for good, and I close the doors from there. So the only way you would be able to work with me would be from next year on April. So thank you all so much for being here. I love you, and you're so all wonderful. If this is the first time we meet, great to meet you. If it's not the first time, I'm so glad you're still showing up and you're still supporting me and following me. I love you, and I'll leave you now. Goodbye.